We can expect to see most of the snowfall in northern New Mexico today, and it snowed on and off near Pecos on Friday. This is what it looked like driving up there. Now, earlier in the day, there were dozens of accidents in Santa Fe and into the night, and overnight, snow was sticking to the roads. You can see snow left over in the plaza. A lot of people enjoying it, some even taking pictures with a snowman, while others headed out to enjoy a walk.
This is beautiful Santa Fe weather. This is what we want to see. It's like the total TV Christmas that you want to see.
It's beautiful to look at, but personally I ski, so it's nice to have that. Given that, the last, decade or so, the snow hasn't been the way it used to be.
And this is what it looked like driving near Glorieta. The road's pretty slick there. There's a similar situation near Durango, just north of the New Mexico-Colorado state line yesterday. Rachel Monarch snapped this photo of a snowplow on its side. The snowplow belongs to the Colorado Department of Transportation. No word if anyone was injured. Now taking a live look from nmroads.com at road conditions this morning. The State Department of Transportation reporting crews out near Santa Fe salting, sanding, and plowing roads. And there are a lot of patches of difficult driving conditions in the northern part of New Mexico. And US 64 near Tres Piedras is closed. The DOT says that's due to heavy snowfall and difficult driving. Well, all of this snow doesn't mean tree planting season stops. That's why city workers were planting trees yesterday morning in Albuquerque. Crews with the city Parks and Rec Department were out at Bullhead Park near Kirtland Air Force Base planting this tree. So why now? Officials say the trees are dormant, so there's no water demand on the root system. And this storm is what New Mexico's ski areas pray for. Some of them got a late start this year, but look at how much has fallen so far. This is a look at Ski Santa Fe yesterday. We checked, and as of this morning, they're reporting 6 inches in the last 24 hours. The snow also coming down at Sandia in just the last 24 hours. They're reporting 5 new inches of snow. And this is the Taos ski area yesterday. They say they got 7 inches in the last 24 hours. We'll be bringing you the latest on this winter storm on air and online on KRQE.com, where you can also sign up for weather alerts. Coming up at 7:30, a look at the storm's impact here in the metro, plus more of what we can expect today. Well, thieves stole the roof right off a historic Route 66 building not once, but twice. The building on 12th and Central was originally brick, but then about 25 years ago, it was redone and redesigned with copper by a world-renowned Albuquerque architect.
Bart Prince, who is an internationally famous architect, put this together. You can't tell from the picture, but it's the art, the handicraft work on the copper is just absolutely unbelievable, and it's going to be a shame that it has to go.
Well, thieves first hit last week and then again Wednesday. Neighbors called the cops the second time after hearing and seeing several people stealing the copper off the building. APD arrived, but the suspects ran off. Until the building owner can remove and replace the copper, he's hired private security to watch the building. A Santa Fe judge is refusing to allow trial testimony about a so-called warrior gene. The judge ruled against allowing defense testimony that an accused murderer's genetics made him more aggressive. Anthony Yepes is accused of choking and beating 75-year-old George Ortiz to death in 2012. The judge said allowing the testimony might persuade jurors that the killing was not premeditated, and she was uncertain that the science is reliable. A man who shot at Rio Rancho police during a 40-mile chase now faces 40 years behind bars. Chin Hoyne was found guilty of several counts on Wednesday. Last year in February, he pointed a gun and demanded cash from someone at an ATM on Southern and Country Club. He and his accomplices took off. The victim called police, and an accomplice led them on a chase. Hoyne shot at them during the chase again when he ran off after the SUV ran out of gas near Jemez Springs. Officers shot him in the arm and then arrested him. A riot at the San Juan County Jail has prompted new policies and training. The Daily Times reporting there will be more patrols, and they'll meet with law enforcement to develop a better action plan. The jail's even considering buying a body scanner that would allow for non-intrusive searches. Last month, inmates drunk on homemade liquor and high on prescription drugs got violent. One jail guard suffered a fractured eye socket. Several other guards and inmates suffered minor injuries. Well, the snow and rain started back up in the metro last night, and the winter storm didn't stop people from heading out on their Friday night. We saw people walking around Uptown and Nob Hill. Some we talked to were loving this weather, while others are ready for some sunshine.
I love it because I'm going skiing tomorrow.
Being a New Mexico kid, it's really tough because I don't have enough jackets to keep warm, don't have enough layers, but I'm totally a summer person and I can't wait for it to start getting warmer.
Heavy wet snow fell yesterday morning in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, sticking to trees and grass, but leaving roads clear. APS did cancel classes just for the East Mountain schools. Now, this is the East Mountain schools' 4th snow day of the year. They had 4 built in, so that means any more snow days will have to be made up. And APD says people are making it easy for crooks to take off with their cars in this cold weather. In Albuquerque, 8 vehicles were stolen yesterday morning while their owners were warming them up. They say just this week, about 33 vehicles were taken because they were left unlocked or unattended while being warmed up. Our cameras can't be everywhere when the weather hits, so we rely on you to send us what you see. Chaz Allonen out at HP in Rio Rancho sent us this video yesterday. As you can see, the area got just enough snow to cover the cars and the landscape in the parking lot, but didn't stick to the pavement. We also got more viewer pictures from around the state. Rodolfo Vargas in Taos sent us this snapshot. That's about 4 inches of snow there. He has the $2 bill to prove it, and this one is out west in McKinley County, sent in by Nicole Rangel of her dogs Alex and Ember playing in the snow. If you have pictures to send us, we would love to see them. Just head on over to KRQE.com, and we'll bring you all of the important updates as this storm moves through the state. You can check the very latest on air and online at KRQE.com. Albuquerque firefighters were called out to a big house fire overnight. AFD tells us the fire started just after midnight last night, and by the time they got where the house was, it was almost fully engulfed. When firefighters got into the house, that fire intensified. They were pulled out. That's when they say the fire burst through the roof, and they made the decision to try to contain it. AFD tells us it took them at least an hour to get it under control. Luckily, no one was home when the fire broke out. AFD says no one was injured in the blaze. It's shocked a lot of people. A popular New Mexico restaurant with spots around the state has filed for bankruptcy. News 13's Tina Jensen talked to the CEO of Flying Star to find out why.
Flying Star likes to use the slogan, "You're never far from a flying star." But if you live in Bernalillo or Santa Fe, well, you will be a little farther from one of their stores. Those locations are closing, part of a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company's court filing lists $1 million to $10 million in assets and the same in liabilities, with more than $6 million owed to their top 20 creditors.
I can't believe it, to be honest. You know, it's caught me off guard.
The announcement from the company came as a shock to regulars, who often have to fight for tables. But CEO Gene Bernstein says not all their locations are that packed.
In the case of the northern locations, that was not always the case. It was very up and down.
On KRQE's Facebook page, you had plenty to say about the bankruptcy and Flying Star's prices. Stephanie said, not surprised, paid $35 for a salad, grilled cheese, and drinks. Adriana said, shouldn't this article read former Flying Star patrons forced into bankruptcy?
I really don't understand where that comes from. If they think that we're too expensive, they haven't been to a Flying Star in a really long time.
Bernstein says the bankruptcy is simply about the 2 slower locations that are now shutting down. But regulars say even if the prices go up, you'll still find them at Flying Star.
Even if they have to raise the prices, I guess I'd still pay it because it's one of the only nicer places in town.
Tina Jensen, KRQE News 13.
Flying Star says it has no plans to raise prices or close any of their Albuquerque locations. The Bernalillo and Santa Fe locations closed for good yesterday. A popular New Mexico fast food restaurant's expanding into another Southwest state. Blake's Slotaburger is opening up its first Arizona location. It'll be in Tucson and open this summer. Blake's has nearly 80 locations here and in El Paso. I-40 is back open at San Mateo after a 3-car accident overnight. Albuquerque police are investigating the crash that happened on eastbound I-40. They tell us all 3 cars were damaged and the drivers were sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Details are limited this morning while the investigation continues. The interstate opened back up around midnight. The Disneyland measles outbreak has not hit New Mexico yet, but is growing in neighboring Southwest states. And that has health officials here keeping close tabs on the outbreak because some New Mexico parents are choosing not to vaccinate their kids. With something as contagious as the measles, doctors are worried.
Seeing vaccine exemptions increase is something that definitely does concern us.
She says there's no scientific proof that vaccinations trigger disorders like autism. We checked, and the highest rates of measles vaccine exemptions are in Los Alamos, Taos, and Santa Fe counties. We want your thoughts on the issue. Do you think parents should be forced to vaccinate their children? So far, the answer is yes, with 61% of you agreeing. You can still have your say. Go to KRQE.com. The poll is on our main page. The latest flu numbers show it's been an extremely dangerous season. The CDC says a record number of people over 65 have been hospitalized. That's because the flu continues to be widespread, and this season could last longer than usual. The good news, state health officials say here in New Mexico, the rate of people being hospitalized with flu is much lower than the rest of the country. Some Albuquerque students paraded through their school yesterday with a simple message of kindness.
We want to do everything we can to make sure everyone enjoys kindness, and we just think that bullying is not something that is okay.
Monte Vista Elementary students used musical instruments and signs. It's part of the International Great Kindness Challenge. It's a week celebrated worldwide, devoted to performing as many acts of kindness as possible, from smiling at someone to picking up trash or lending a pencil.